When Bungie released Destiny in 2014, it promised players an epic space opera that blurred the line between cooperative loot shooters like Borderlands and massively multiplayer online RPGs. Now, the company is about to release a sequel that takes it to the next level. This is Destiny 2. At first blush, Destiny 2 is everything a sequel is supposed to be. It's a successor that builds upon the strengths of the original while simultaneously shedding its faults. If you love the tight gunplay and epic battles of the original game, you'll find plenty of those in the new version. But the structure around that gameplay has vastly improved. Instead of simply selecting missions from a map, players can now explore open-world regions in the universe of Destiny and seek out adventures at their own pace. It's a format that exposes players to unexpected experiences. For example, while walking to story missions or one of the 15 to 20 minute side quests that the game refers to adventures, I routinely found myself stumbling across other players embarked on their own missions, or pausing on the way to my next objective to help out with a public event. The system just feels like a more natural way to lead players through the game's universe. But what makes it special is how these open worlds bring the player into a shared world experience. Halfway through completing one of my own missions, for instance, a public event started that overlapped my objective. At first this was frustrating, since there were now two enemy factions standing in the way of my goal, but after a few minutes, they began fighting amongst themselves. Soon after that, other players joined the fray, and the whole thing became an epic yet bespoke multiplayer war zone. In Destiny 2, this kind of stuff happens all the time. On the way to a mission, I might pause to help another team fight a giant mech, or another player might step in and help me as I'm overrun by a swarm of thrall. The original Destiny never truly felt like a shared world to me, but this does. Navigating that open and shared world is a lot easier than in the first game too. Destiny 2's Director Mode now offers players a detailed interactive map. It still has missions listed on it, just like in the first game, but now they serve as waypoints in the open world. That doesn't mean you'll have to walk all the way there to start a mission, however. The Director also has multiple landing zones for each area. Basically, these are fast travel points that allow players to jump to a specific part of the map. That said, Destiny 2 isn't an open world game the same way Fallout 4 or Grand Theft Auto might be. Instead, it gives players a series of disparate playgrounds. The maps are large and they're a lot of fun to explore, but they just aren't directly connected to each other. At Bungie's preview event, we had a chance to wander around just one, the European Dead Zone, an area that includes an abandoned Earth city, lush forests, deserted highways, and plenty of wilderness to explore. There's plenty of missions to partake on in the European Dead Zone too, but there are also areas called Lost Sectors, tiny mini dungeons you can explore at your own pace. There's a lot to do. The improved structure isn't the only thing that makes Destiny 2 feel better than its predecessor. The player versus environment gunplay seems to be a bit more balanced. It's true to say that the game shares the same beats as the original Destiny, but the sensation that I was fighting an endless horde of bullet sponges just wasn't as strong. I felt like my attacks had more impact, and that enemies fell after a more reasonable amount of punishment. It's hard to put to words, but the game just feels more balanced overall. Combined with the new super moves that briefly transformed the game from a first-person shooter to a fast-paced, high-damage, third-person melee experience, and I left Destiny 2 feeling just a bit more powerful than I did in the original game. As someone who found the original Destiny to be a tedious and frustrating experience, the game's successor seems to be the perfect kind of sequel. Destiny 2 takes what worked about the original game and makes it better. It also fixes a lot of issues that kept players like me from enjoying the first Destiny. If Bungie's original shared world shooter failed to hook you when it came out in 2014, think about giving this sequel a shot. Not only is it more streamlined and balanced, with more special moves, more interesting enemies, a more robust open area, and a lot more to do, but it delivers a far better shared world experience than the original ever could. With Destiny 2, Bungie has finally created a version of its space opera that lives up to the hype.